Welcome back to my countdown to Superman Legacy, where I'm reviewing every mainline Superman movie, one per day, until the Man of Steel returns to the silver screen this month. Today, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I couldn't even keep a straight face with that one. A movie with actually a surprising amount of heart, ambition, and absolutely no budget to support either. Let's set the stage. By the time Superman 4 went into production, the once celebrated Cannon Film Studio was circling the drain. They were bleeding money, cutting corners, and trying to squeeze a Superman epic out of a budget barely fit for an episode of Knight Rider. Scenes were deleted to save on effects, sets were recycled, and visual effects that would have looked dated in the 1960s actually made it to the final cut. The original 135-minute runtime, that was slashed to 90 minutes. And you can feel it, man, in every rushed scene, every awkward transition, in every missing plot thread. And yet somehow, there are still a few ideas in here worth salvaging and talking about. Let's start with the good. Margot Kidder is back as Lois Lane, and it is so good to see her again. She and Reeve still have that on-screen magic. But sadly, the script kinda does her dirty and undercuts her. There's one scene in particular where Clark has the flu, and she barges into his apartment rambling about Superman's latest drama without even asking, "Hey, are you okay?" It's not strong, savvy Lois, it's oddly cold and self-involved. Lois is kind of a bitch in this movie. More interesting is the addition of Lacey Warfield, played by Mariel Hemingway. Her attraction to Clark, not Superman, is a nice inversion of the usual love triangle dynamic, and it gives Clark a rare moment of attention and validation as himself. There's potential there that the movie unfortunately never fully explores. Another good idea? The moral dilemma of Clark working for the very newspaper that's actively attacking Superman. That conflict, public persona versus media narrative, is timely. It's compelling. And it could have added real depth if the script had focused on it and given it time to breathe. There was a good idea at the core here. Then we get to the nuclear disarmament plot. Perhaps the boldest swing the film takes. And it's a noble message, and it's one that Christopher Reeve himself actually pushed for. The idea of Superman unilaterally ending global nuclear warfare is rich with ethical implications, but this movie isn't equipped to handle any of them. Instead, we get a montage of Superman chucking nukes into the sun like crumpled beer cans. Problem solved? Enter Gene Hackman! Once again, phoning in his performance as Lex Luthor. Now with a radioactive nephew made from Superman's DNA and a bad wig, Nuclear Man. And listen, Nuclear Man is a disaster. He hisses, he growls, he's allergic to shade. But here's the weird thing. Some of the ideas behind him are actually fascinating. He's a twisted mirror of Superman, grown in a lab and weaponized from birth. Even some of the aerial sequences between Superman and Nuclear Man, while plagued by low-budget effects, were genuinely ahead of their time in concept. The wide aerial compositions, the mid-air struggle choreography. You can see the vision. You can see what this could have been with time and money. Unfortunately, none of that vision made it to the screen intact. But there was something here. They were onto something. I mean, this is a truly awful movie, despite me harkening on about how there are redeeming things and how I can see what they were going for despite failing miserably. Let's hone in on the fact that it is a failure. The movie is a 3 out of 10. You can't give it anything more than that. Superman 4, it's a noble failure. It tries to say something meaningful, it tries to bring the franchise back to earth, and it tries to restore a sense of optimism and responsibility. But it's constantly sabotaged by its own lack of resources and narrative discipline. The character arcs are rushed, the effects are laughable, and Hackman's Lex is still mugging his way through every scene like he's in a Pink Panther movie. There are glimmers of brilliance buried here, themes about power, media, identity and peace, but they're drowning in a sea of cheap sets, cartoon villains, and studio desperation. But while this may have been the end of Christopher Reeve's time as Superman, they didn't stop there. Tomorrow, we fast forward nearly 20 years to Superman Returns, a film that tries valiantly to resurrect the spirit of Christopher Reeve with a modern take, with modern spectacle. It's bold, somewhat divisive, but there's some legacy to it. You won't want to miss it, so be sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you're alerted when that review goes up. Until then, stay super. I'll see you tomorrow for Superman Returns. Bye for now.